We need fresh servers in RuneScape to grow the game, because this way people can start over in a fresh economy without microtransactions, and it would make the playing field fair again for everyone. You could call these fresh start worlds, just like we had a few years ago, but without them merging with the main servers. This is the only way to grow RuneScape, which is something you might have read or heard on various social platforms, and I'm here to break it down. Do we actually need fresh servers, or will they be damaging for the long-term health of the game and its community? In this video, we'll be referring to the concept of separate fresh servers as fresh start worlds, as that is what most people are calling them, because we used to have something similar a few years ago. Fresh start worlds was a 3-month-long event on separate servers where we had slightly increased experience rates and some basic buffs like extra accuracy or a 20% chance to double drops. This event was created to make jagex more money. This event was created to give people a fair chance to start an account again in a fresh economy where you could compete for high scores and get lapsed players initiated back into the game. Yet, after 8 weeks, jagex enabled microtransactions in these servers as well, which, to their credit, they communicated beforehand, but still defeated the whole point and what people were kind of looking for at that time, and instead we got an obvious cash grab. So, for this video, when I refer to fresh start worlds, I'm simply talking about fresh servers. So pretty much servers where everyone starts on a level 3 account in an empty economy without any buffs or any other nonsense. Before we get started, like the video to help me out, let me know where you stand right now before the video, and then after the video, I would also like to know where you stand and if I change your opinion on the matter. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to reach 15k subscribers by the end of the year. Okay, so why do people want these fresh start worlds now that MTX has been removed? Which, even that statement is kind of funny to me, because you can still buy bonus experience stars, effectively giving you double experience, in the game, and of course cosmetics through the store. The gambling aspect obviously has been removed, and the direct experience through lamps and various other things, which is great, but the sentiment of MTX has been removed is actually not true. One of the most commonly given arguments is that it feels unfair seeing people walk around that are a high level and them not knowing if they earned that legit or if they paid for it by buying keys or even using their daily/earned keys. To some, that might sound kind of strange, including myself till recently, because who cares on how you got it? I play this game for myself, and as long as I am happy, what does it matter what you feel about my achievements? Which in essence holds true. But the flip side of this is that within the MMORPG genre, a lot of the reasoning for people playing is to show off their achievements. Why do I care about my trim completion escape? Well, because I earned it, and I couldn't take any shortcuts even if I wanted to. An even better example might even be the status symbols that are the Master and Grandmaster combat achievement auras. When you see those, you know for certain that the person who has it is actually really good at PvM, because otherwise you can't earn it. Unless you buy leeches, but that's besides the point. To be honest with you, I think that the whole argument of how people earn their achievements is super vain, because do you really care about what some other 30-year-old neckbeard thinks of your achievement? Like, seriously, do you really hold Dragon Killer 75's opinion on you getting your maxscape with or without MTX in such high regard that you downplay the achievement for yourself? And if you really care about such things in the first place, maybe you should have started an Ironman back then, because there is no confusion on your achievements being valid or not, because with Ironman mode, there are no shortcuts. I know that I picked a bit of a surface level argument to start off with, but truthfully, it does go a little deeper than that, even if at face value, it might not look it. The essence of this, at least from my research on the subject, comes from people feeling like the availability of Treasure Hunter in the past gave people who were around at that time an unfair advantage, because we were able to use lamps, proteins, dummies, and other overpowered skilling items to level up our skills, which is a very valid argument. We had the stupid experience rates available, and you have to earn it the hard way now. You must be quite jaded watching this to not agree that by definition, this is not fair. On top of that, for everyone starting now, the game over the years has been balanced around the use of microtransactions. Jagex obviously wanted you to feel like buying spins and using those items were the best way to train your skills because they wanted to make money. Even when you look at the content that was released, a lot of it feels uninspired and simply isn't fun. But do you really blame the developers? When they have the data that most people probably don't interact with the new agility cores because they use Silverhawks or prefer to train runecrafting using protein essence, that they probably don't really have much motivation to actually make something good. This is a side of MTX a lot of people don't see, and especially the people, which I used to be one of, who say, yeah, but I don't interact with it, so it doesn't affect me. Yes, it does. Because you get shitty content because of its existence alone. And regular methods get overcompensated experience rates to make people play the game when they ran out of MTX shit, or to simply keep people around, or the other way around where they just give you shitty methods so you're kind of forced to buy MTX items. Or what to think about all the items that were affected by MTX. Think about potion supplies, logs, fish, you name it. Most of the gathering skills barely make any money because there was no point in using those products. A fresh economy would actually solve that issue because you can't use protein logs anymore to get 99 fire making or protein bomb thingy, whatever the hell they're called, for herblore to get your herb level. You need to actually use the supplies like magic logs or potion supplies. Before someone gives me the argument that PVM dropped so much of it, sure, in certain cases that is true, but the main reason for the prices being so low is that there was pretty much no demand for them, period. And truthfully, jagex kind of also used drop titles as a scapegoat because they could obviously not remove microtransactions at the time, and that was the only way to really solve how the economy worked without removing the MTX items like proteins. So to summarize, a fresh economy would make skilling feel great again, and with fresh servers where everyone starts over, you know that DonCat43 with his MaxScape actually grinded for it. And you might not feel done over because that Chevalric prick was able to lamp his dungeoneering to 120 for his comp cape, and you have to train the shitty minigame of a skill yourself. The game will actually grow because of it, which I don't think it will. Not because of Fresh Start Worlds at least. And I think something like this, at least for now, will do more harm than good. Before we get into the argument against it, let me actually point out a thing a lot of Fresh Start World believers, believed. The game will not be able to grow without it. But just the removal of Treasure Hunter alone made RuneScape peak at 37k players on a random Sunday. No double XP or leagues needed. Even during leagues, RuneScape was only reaching roughly 50k-ish players max. So the fact we are 10k off that with nothing really going on shows that the removal itself already had a huge impact. But unfortunately, the systems in place that tainted the game over the last 13 years are still there. The retention rate daily scape activities, the wacky balanced training methods, the progression gaps, and all that's in between that would make a compelling argument for fresh servers are also one of the biggest ones against it. All the damage that MTX has done over the years to these systems are still there. The game is still just as broken from a gameplay perspective now as it was a year or 5 years ago. Given, jagex is trying to fix a lot of this over the next year of course, but as of me writing the script, the game is pretty much still the same. The sentiment just changed because of the removal of Treasure Hunter, which of course is awesome, but the game is literally still the same. Maybe, once they fixed all of that, Fresh Start Worlds could actually have a positive impact, because people would still feel hard done over when a lot of players benefited from the broken unbalanced systems, and you couldn't. But that would just present two new issues, at least in my opinion of course, breaking one of RuneScape's fundamental pillars, and fracturing the player base by doing so. Let's tackle the pillar first. What makes RuneScape different over any other MMORPG is that you can log in at any point and have things like your gear, stats and unlocks available to you, and them still being relevant. You will still be able to do all the content you were able to do before, and you simply have to catch up with the new stuff. Given RuneScape is a lot better of this because of power creep and whatever, but RuneScape 3 still does a great job. If you had full Serenic and Ascensions back in the day, you can still do a lot of PVM, even some of the newer stuff. Will it be great? No, but you can. where many MMOs actually require you to only use the new stuff at the new bosses, and with RuneScape you can still use your old stuff. A fresh server would just make you lose that aspect and even complicate things. Think about something like your friend who hasn't played in a while, and he returns. He has a great account on the main game, logs in, and doesn't see you online because you are on the new servers and he is on the old ones. So one of you has to make a new account or switch over to the other one to be able to play together. But that's just a small part of what I think will just fracture the player base. Because think about things like the people who do play on the new servers, who will act all high and mighty because they have done everything quote-unquote legit over OG server players, which simply adds more toxicity to the community. Or what to think about the tens of thousands of Ironmen who over the years never interacted with MTX. Are they allowed to come over to the new servers? Or the people who started after the removal of Treasure Hunter? Are they being transferred over as well? I mean, those two can be figured out, of course, but I do think the bigger argument here is that people who will feel like that they are doing on the OG servers is just simply not legitimized because of what the fresh start servers would represent, and could lead to them quitting. Think about the uncertainty of people thinking that jagex will remove the OG servers, or simply the whole forced feeling of needing to start over when they don't really have the time to do so anymore as an adult. I don't know why I said adult in such a weird way, but hey-oh, we move on. But just like the argument of people caring about what SNGeorge69 thinks about their achievements, the same argument should be applied here. Who cares? The thing that matters here is fixing the problem of growing the game, and if Fresh Start Worlds will achieve this. The truth is, we will not know until jagex actually wants them, but I do however think that there are a couple of signs that could argue against them being introduced and splitting the player base, because whatever you think of Fresh Start Worlds, it will split the player base. Actually, the number that I named earlier, the 37k players on a random Sunday, is something that shows that people clearly want to return to the game, even though nothing really has changed. But hey ho, Treasure Hunter is no longer there, so people want to play it again. They feel validized again. They feel like it's worth their time again, which is great. But even leaks gave us a good insight on how we can actually fix the game and the issues that people encountered. Whilst many people quit leagues because the relics were not overpowered enough and there was too much grinding, it also showed jagex a lot is wrong with the early to mid game, and it's simply not being enjoyable to a lot of people. Hence why it's mentioned on the roadmap and they're trying to fix it. Fixing these issues could seriously have an impact on growing the game and could even take away the feeling of missing out on the OP methods. Because if shit is fun to do, who cares that you have to do it a little longer? Right now, it would suck because a lot of stuff is just not fun to do and the game is more about the destination than the journey. But if jagex changes that and the journey becomes actually fun to do, then the destination doesn't really matter anymore. So, should they have Fresh Start Worlds? No, not right now. Fix the game. See if improving the onboarding process, combat, skilling, dailyscape, early mid-game progression and plugins will make a natural impact on the growth of the game. And if that doesn't work, run Fresh Start Worlds as a last-ditch effort. But right now, I think you will just push people away who are already playing, and the new players coming in will still be suffering from the damaged Treasure Hunter world that we live in right now, even if they might not realize it. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Did I change your opinion? Is your opinion not changed at all? Leave a like, subscribe, the whole lot. And my name's Chevalric, and I'll see you guys in my next video.